As the old saying goes, honesty is the best policy. And my friend, as you're looking at Northwest Arkansas as a potential place to move for you and your family, I thought it would be helpful to deliver to you an honest assessment of the area. Of course, some of this might be my opinion, but I'm also factoring in what some of my friends that have lived here their entire life are saying, and also factoring in what people that have just moved here say about Northwest Arkansas. We're going to look at different factors such as infrastructure, schools, crime, real estate, activities, restaurants, and even healthcare to make sure that we have a very broad spectrum view of an honest assessment of Northwest Arkansas. If you've done any research about Northwest Arkansas at all, you know that the region is growing. In fact, recent statistics say that 36 net people a day are moving to Northwest Arkansas. Northwest Arkansas, my friend, is defined as Benton, Washington, and Madison counties. Now, most of my videos pretty much talk about Benton and Washington counties, but we're going to loop in Madison County on a couple different of these categories. Going back to our number of 36 net people a day. Now, you should know that Northwest Arkansas, as of recent, is estimated to have right around 570,000 people that occupy the region. The same people who put out the statistic that there are 36 net people a day say that Northwest Arkansas is going to grow to around 1 million people by the year 2050. From the shooting of this video, that's 26 years from now. And if we stay on that same growth rate of 36 net people a day, I'm going to do the math for you, that's 13,140 people a year, we will not hit 1 million people by the year 2050. So the folks that put that statistic together, they're thinking that there's going to be a spike in growth. I'll reverse engineer the math for you. If you have 1 million people in Northwest Arkansas by 2050, we need to have a growth rate of over 46 people per day. Now, when you have a region that's growing that much, you need to consider infrastructure, you need to consider housing, you need to consider schools and restaurants, healthcare, and that's more about what we're diving in today to give you that honest assessment. At the end of this video, my friend, I'm going to give you my opinion as to what Northwest Arkansas needs to do to help with the future growth of our area based off of our honest assessment. Now, I'm not a city planner. I'm not someone that has pull in regards to that. I'm just a local real estate broker that helps people like you move here on the regular. The first factor we're going to discuss is infrastructure. My friend, infrastructure is consideration of schools, buildings, power, and utilities to be able to serve an area, to be able to serve a population. If you're already in the Northwest Arkansas area, or you've been here for a while and you know that infrastructure in regards to roads is far behind. Honestly, my friend, there are bottlenecks all over Northwest Arkansas. Depending on the time of day where construction is happening, if school is in session, or if we're talking about traditional rush hour, those areas of bottleneck are on Highway 49, 412 down towards Springdale, Walton Boulevard, just about anywhere you go on Walton Boulevard, 102, 72, Highway 12, and 71 Business, all have different bottlenecks. Greenhouse Road is a big bottleneck on the Bentonville-Centerton line when it comes to rush hour and school traffic. We live in a day and age where we need electricity. For instance, I'm shooting this on my iPhone right now, and I need a way to charge that iPhone, so the folks that are building the infrastructure need to have a way to get power to my house. So in Northwest Arkansas, you're going to see a lot of high tension power lines as you drive around. Now, a lot of people say, hey, you know what, power is great, but man, that is ugly. Why can't they put those in the ground? Well, they could, my friend, but the price of that is significantly higher than just going above the ground. So when an area is growing so fast and infrastructure or power needs to go from one side of town through a substation to another, going over the ground on those high tension power lines is the fastest and most cost-effective way to get it there. Of course, city planners and developers know that there is a traffic problem in certain areas. If you look at some of our traffic plans in Benton County and Washington County both, there are plans to develop better roads, better off-ramps, more convenient connector roads, and expanding sidewalks and bike paths as well. Moving on to schools, if you were to visit niche.com that ranks schools in the entire nation, you'll notice that Northwest Arkansas has a very high concentration of top-rated schools. Now, certainly there's some high-rated schools in the Little Rock area, Jonesboro area, or even Hot Springs area. But looking up in Northwest Arkansas, there is a high concentration of top-rated schools. Of course, here in Northwest Arkansas, we have Northwest Arkansas Community College. Harding University has a campus here, and who can't forget the University of Arkansas down in Fayetteville, which is a member of the SEC conference. And no, I will not call those hogs, but James, go ahead and roll that footage. Yes, my friend, you might hear people calling the hogs on the radio, on the sidewalk. I've even heard the hogs called in church one time. But you will still never hear me call those hogs. Are you a foodie and looking for a region that has a wide variety of food? Well, my friend, you'd be interested to know that Northwest Arkansas has a wide variety of mom and pop type restaurants. There's quite a few in downtown Bentonville, Rogers, Springdale, Fayetteville, out towards Gravette. And maybe you're a person that finds comfort in the chain restaurants like Chili's, Chuy's, Torchy's, Applebee's, McDonald's, Taco Bell, Subway. What town in America does not have a McDonald's and a Subway? The next section we'll get into is diversity of our area, but kind of tying diversity into restaurants. If we had a more diverse population, we'd probably have more diverse restaurants as well. Of course, there's Thai food, Indian food, Mexican food, sushi. My family loves Table Mesa on the square in downtown Bentonville. We also love going down to Hammond Trees in Fayetteville. But my family also likes sometimes to go to Olive Garden, and we absolutely love going to Andy's Frozen Custard. If you're looking for the most diversity in restaurants, I would say look in Fayetteville or Bentonville. If you're looking for more of your chain restaurants right off the highway, I would say consider Rogers. I don't believe at the shooting of this video there are any Michelin-starred restaurants. Now, I do believe that Forbes has a rating system also. So my friend, if you are one of those high-level foodies that need to have that wide palette of variety of food, we might not be quite there, but if you go down and look into our specific towns, I'm sure you'll find something that tempts your palate. Now let's move on to diversity. According to Axios.com, in 1990, Northwest Arkansas was 95% white. In 2021, only 71% white. The second largest group of people makeup in Northwest Arkansas is Latino at 17%. A similar study done by Axios said that by the year of 2026, our region will be 68% white, 19% Hispanic or Latino, 4% Asian, 3% Black, and 2% Pacific Islander. As of late, my friend, you probably feeling in your own pocketbook that the cost of living everywhere has gone up significantly. Well, my friend, if you're looking at state maps like this one, you'll see that Arkansas is one of the most cost-effective states to live in the entire United States. However, we're looking at Northwest Arkansas. Northwest Arkansas, and specifically Bentonville, is one of the most expensive places to live in the entire state. Northwest Arkansas very much lives like a mid-market city like Nashville, Denver, or Kansas City. So if you think you're going to move to Northwest Arkansas and save a bunch of money on cost of living, that might be the case depending on where you're coming from. But the cost of living, if you are a local, what we're hearing from many locals is they're getting priced out. There aren't enough jobs that allow them enough income to be able to stay in the town that they grew up in. So that is a growing pain with so many people moving from all over the country to Northwest Arkansas. We're going to see prices continue to rise. We're going to see a need for housing, which brings us into our next section. But before we get there, if you're looking for the most cost-effective way to live in Northwest Arkansas, I would encourage you to find yourself farther away from the I-49 corridor. As the farther you get away from the I-49 corridor, your dollar more than likely will stretch farther than being closer to 49. If cost of living is something that you really need to dig into, I would encourage you to go to Forbes.com and type in your specific city where you live now and compare it to Bentonville, Rogers, Springdale, Fayetteville to see what the cost of living difference is from where you are living now to where you would be living here in Northwest Arkansas. One of our basic needs as human beings is to have a place for housing. And as we said earlier in the last section, the cost of living is going to rise, and part of that cost of living is your house or your rent. Most everywhere you look in Northwest Arkansas, from Bella Vista to the north, Fayetteville to the south, Siloam Springs to the west, and past Rogers, past Beaver Lake to the east, you're going to see growth and new homes being built just about everywhere you look. You may be asking yourself, well, Anthony, where can I find acres of land? Well, my friend, depending on how deep you want to dig in your pocket, you can find some acreage to live. Is it in your right school district? Is it in your proximity to work? Is it by the activities that you want to do? So housing prices have continued to rise. At the beginning of this year, I did an exhaustive study that showed that since 2009, Northwest Arkansas has appreciated in value through the housing crisis, through COVID, at 5% per year on average. In 2021 and in 2022, we saw probably the two biggest years of appreciation in Northwest Arkansas, somewhere deeper in the teens, close to the 20% mark of home appreciation. Now, single-family homes historically appreciate better than condos or townhomes or multifamily homes. Now, if renting is what you're considering, you're probably going to pay somewhere between $1.15 to $1.45 a square foot, depending on where you find a rental, depending on what school district, proximity to trails, proximity to downtown, proximity to so many different factors is going to cause that price per square foot on a rental to go up or down. So much like housing, the farther you go away from the I-49 corridor, the lower the price per square foot you'll, one, be on homes, but two, be on your rental. If you're looking to build in Northwest Arkansas, you can find new construction just about anywhere you look. You might have a hard time finding a custom builder that'll be able to take on your project right away. You might have to consider renting for a little while. You might consider moving your family here to buy a property that fits for now while you build your new construction home somewhere else. Before we move on to the next section, my friend, if you'd like to have a more detailed conversation about real estate in Northwest Arkansas or any of the other topics that we've discussed today in this video, feel free to reach out to me anytime. My information's down in the comments. Now moving on to healthcare, if you're looking at usnews.com, they've ranked the entire state of Arkansas as 47th on their list. Is that the 47th worst or 47th best? However, they're saying it is way down the list in regards to healthcare. Now, again, that's the entire state of Arkansas, and we're looking at the northwest corner of Arkansas. We have multiple hospitals, specialists, and the like. As a rating system that I'm sure you can relate to, when it comes to a level 1 trauma center, Northwest Arkansas does not have one of those. In order to be treated at a level 1 trauma center, you'd have to be taken down to Little Rock or up to Springfield, Missouri. Northwest Arkansas has a level 2 trauma center. In regards to NICUs, the scale changes in that the higher the number, the better the rating. In Northwest Arkansas, we have up to a level 3 NICU. In order to get to a level 4 NICU for that neonatal specialized care, you'll have to go down to Little Rock. As a personal story, when our twins were born, they were in the NICU here in Northwest Arkansas for 2 weeks, and there were certain tests that needed to be ran that the girls could not have done here in Northwest Arkansas because we only have a level 3 NICU, and we needed to go down to Little Rock in order to have those tests done because Little Rock has the closest neonatal intensive care unit. I've gotten comments on my YouTube videos before that many people have said, hey, there aren't specialists that I need here in Northwest Arkansas. I don't want to have to travel to Little Rock, Kansas City, Springfield, St. Louis, or Dallas for my specialized care. Well, my friend, you really need to consider those things if that is very important to you and your healthcare when moving to Northwest Arkansas. Now, you might say, well, what in the world would cause you to need to go to the hospital? Probably one of the variety of activities that you can enjoy in Northwest Arkansas, like camping, canoeing, boating, floating, hiking, mountain biking, golfing, caving. Northwest Arkansas being in the natural state, there is a wide variety of outdoor activities for you to enjoy. There's indoor activities as well, like some of our museums and arts and music venues. But being outside is a way of life here in Arkansas, whether you're walking down Tanyard Creek and jumping in the river, floating down the Buffalo River, which is our nation's first national river. Now, I know you've probably never heard this about Northwest Arkansas, but we do some mountain biking here also. Rollerblading, running a 5K, rock climbing, indoors or outdoors. Those are typically daytime activities. In regards to nightlife in Northwest Arkansas, you're going to have to go down to Fayetteville around the college to be able to enjoy some nightlife. So as far as the vast difference from one city to the other, if you're in Bella Vista and it's 8:30, 9 o'clock, most everything is closed down. Now, if you drive on down to Fayetteville, 8:30, 9 o'clock, you can still find yourself down on Dixon, maybe Walton Arts Center, and find yourself enjoying an evening show at that time. But in regards to nightlife, Northwest Arkansas really doesn't have a nightlife scene. Now, a fair, honest assessment about politics, take a look at this map that I found online, which shows that Washington County votes the most liberal, then Benton County, more conservative, and Madison County, lastly, voting the most conservative out of the three. Something I want to dig in a little bit deeper about this. Again, a fair, honest assessment. Obviously, Benton County votes more conservative, Washington County votes more liberal. Now, when it comes to conversations about politics, we here in Northwest Arkansas can still have a conversation about it and still be friends at the end of the day. Sure, there are those radical people on one side or the other, but I've heard from so many of my clients moving from other states that it is not a political conversation. It is a political argument that people have lost family members. They've lost friends over some of the conversations and their differing views with one another. In my opinion, what I've experienced here, when I have a different opinion than someone else, we can still have a grown-up conversation about it and be able to have opposing views and still be able to be respectful to one another. One of the next controversial topics that we need to talk about is safety. I'm sure as you're considering an area that you want to live, you don't want to live where there's all the crime. You want to live in a safe area. Now, safety is subjective to the individual, but crimegrade.org is the website that I constantly reference on my videos. If you go to crimegrade.org, you can see how they've rated in this map the area of Northwest Arkansas. Now, I would encourage you, my friend, to dig into crimegrade.org locally to see Bella Vista, to see Fayetteville, to see Springdale, to see Rogers, in a specific area that you might be interested in moving in our region, and then compare it to where you live now. So you can say, now where I live in this part of Denver, I feel safe, or I feel safe in this part of San Francisco in comparison to Northwest Arkansas. What are the factors that determine the crime grade score and be able to compare the two? On this last topic, so many people are moving to Northwest Arkansas because their employer's moving here, because it's central to the country, because of cost of living is less than where they may be moving from. But how are they getting here, or how are they getting back home once they're here, is our local airport. The major airlines that serve Northwest Arkansas are Delta, Allegiant, American Airlines, United, Breeze, and Frontier. If you're a frequent traveler back to the West Coast, I would say that you need to probably be prepared to connect somewhere like Denver or Dallas, or maybe even in Houston before you go back west. 7 of the direct flight locations that XNA goes to are in Florida alone, and only 1 place in California. So is that a hindering factor? Yeah. Do you want an airport that's going to take you to more direct locations? Then you're probably going to drive to Dallas or fly to Dallas, or you're going to drive to Kansas City, like most towns have in all of America. Many of our local cities have a municipal airport as well, just like Springdale has their municipal airport. Bentonville has Thaden Field. Rogers has Rogers Executive Airport. So if you are an aviator and likes to be a hobbyist flying your own airplane, or maybe you want to puddle jump from Thaden Field up to Kansas City, you can hop in your Piper Arrow and head up there yourself. As we wrap up this video, my friend, I told you I would be giving you my opinion of what needs to happen in Northwest Arkansas because it's going to continue to grow. That said, I'm sorry to my local friends. I have to be honest. All indicators that I see are moving in the direction of continued rapid growth, at least for the foreseeable future. So here are my recommendations in no particular order are: Northwest Arkansas needs to boost its public transport. We need more affordable housing. We need to expand our green spaces. Next on our list, I would say that we need to foster more economic diversity. As with the major corporations like Walmart, Tyson, and J.B. Hunt here, let's bring in some smaller corporations as well. We need to keep up with and or upgrade our education infrastructure. We need to promote sustainability of this growth. We need to continually increase and invest in our healthcare and wellness. Maybe consider a wider diversity of retail, such as Nordstrom's, Costco, and Trader Joe's. And last but not least, I'm sure everybody would agree with me, is we need to improve the traffic flow all around Northwest Arkansas. My friend, I hope you found this information beneficial to you as you're searching for a new place to live. Now you know a little bit more about what life is like in and around Bentonville. Thanks for watching.